As the parent of a drug addict son that regularly terrorizes the small town we live in, how do we live daily life while at the same time navigating outsiders' assumptions, personal embarrassment, shame, anger, and guilt?
Oh, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Have you ever said that out loud before?
Not to anyone other than my husband.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's hard to say out loud, isn't it?
It is.
You have other kids?
It's a lot. I do. So this, I can't believe I'm going to cry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Sometimes we hold all of this in, and when you finally share it with somebody, it's just your body says, "Oh, thank you," and there's a big release. So, thank you for sharing that. You have other kids?
Yeah. So this son is actually a twin, and they are both 27, and so he's not a child; he's a grown man. And I also have another one that's 25.
What I want you to get out of this phone call is that this one underlying important thing. You cannot control other people's image, judgment, gossiping about you. The only thing you can control is how you choose to or not to hold your head up high when you walk in the local grocery store. How you choose to tip when you see people whispering. How you choose to, when somebody's pointing at you in a restaurant, you pick up their tab if you can. Like, that's the only thing you can control. And I also know it's a nightmare. It's a small town, right? Everyone knows everybody and everybody's in everybody's business and all that. And you can't do...
It's not like he's doing little things that people aren't finding out about. So the 21st of September, he was arrested for kidnapping a minor at the age of 14. Mm-hmm. Like I'm talking major things that wind up on news reels. And, so then we get telephone calls from people or messages on social media from people that we don't know, mm-hmm. telling us things like, you're not doing enough, you're leaving him to the community, and he's terrorizing everyone.
Yeah.
And, he's screaming at himself downtown outside the local bank. And, it's like, and then you question yourself, am I doing the right thing? Because it's like, do I help more? Do I sink in more? Do I put myself at physical risk? Because when the delusions and hallucinations get really bad, then I am always his target.
Yeah.
But
Lynn, let's be honest. That's rumination. That's spinning out on a thing, on an outcome that intellectually you can't even think about. He's a 27-year-old man. Beneath that, I should be. What if I should be? Beneath that is this looming question: did I fail him as a mom?
100%.
And you got to sit in that. And I'm going to suggest the answer is no. You have a son who's very, very sick. And instead of throwing up or instead of having cancer, your son has neurological disorders that society has said are moral failures and character failures. You have a very sick young man. And it's heartbreaking, the judgment on it. And by the way, before I came in here, Kelly was at my desk. We were talking. I got a letter that was 50 pages telling me what's wrong, that I'm theologically out of bounds. Somebody mailed me a letter, a long letter, telling me that my theology's bad. Right? And by the way, I don't even talk about my theology on this show. It's things that just comes with being a public figure. The challenge for you is you're in a small town. I asked for this. You didn't. In a small town, everyone's a public figure, right?
Yeah.
And then when your son, the person who shares your last name, does something that gets him on the news, people feel like it's their job to just bomb you on social media, to bomb you via, and it's all safe at distance, right? Nobody comes over and knocks on your door and says, hey, we got a problem here. They are keyboard warriors. They are telephone warriors. They are anonymous grenade throwers. And I've come to the place in my life where if you're not going to call me and talk to me, if you're not going to come over to my house and sit with me, then your opinion doesn't matter too much to me. Unless what you're putting on the table is constructive. Like if somebody reached out and said, hey, your son is all over the news here and here and here. I have a homeless shelter that specifically works with people like this. I'd love to take your son in. Then great. When somebody calls me and says, hey, you said something about nutrition and you're actually wrong here and here's where it was, I love that kind of stuff. But if somebody just wants to throw grenades, I can't do anything about it, right? And you can't either. What you can do is the next right thing. If he comes over and threatens somebody in your home, then I'm going to call the police and have him arrested because he's not safe. Because now he's a man in the community that's putting my life at risk or my husband's life at risk.
Yeah, we do that on a regular. So he hasn't actually been allowed in my home in 2 years.
Okay. Can I stop right there real quick? Can I applaud you for that? Because I know that's devastating. That's so hard, right?
It's very difficult. And I have to give all the credit for that to my husband because I took his lead on that because I was reacting from a far too emotional space. And he tends to be way more logical thinking.
It's not that. I don't want you to think that there's something deficient in how you're approaching this. You're a mother. You're supposed to go down on the Titanic with your kids. And your husband is also in this space where he's going to ride or die with his kids and he's going to protect his wife.
And that was the conversation that him and I had 2 years ago where he said that my husband explained that I was, not that he was saying I was getting in his way, but that I was making it difficult for him to be able to protect the house and home, which is then expected of him, especially as from society. And so that's when we came to the decision that, like, the front porch is okay. And so when he shows up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a busted head or whatever, then I just sit on the porch and call 911 or call the police if I have to or whatever's going on. I don't know. I just...
Hold on. Can I sit here with you on that one? Like, I don't want to blow by that. Moms moms are supposed to, but the way the world works, you shouldn't have to sit on the front porch with a very, very ill son while he's bleeding and not be able to hug him because he might hurt you. It's not supposed to be that way.
It's really not.
It's heartbreaking.
And then you run into him in town.
Yeah.
And it's scared. I'm instantly scared if I'm by myself. I feel like, sounds crazy, but it feels like my butt's going to fall off. I get like this tingly feeling where my legs and my butt connect.
No, it's your body telling you to run. And also there's that maternal instinct that says, I'm not running anywhere but right into the arms of my son. All of that tension is real and it's true and it's right. You're not crazy. And then that's when people decide to throw grenades at you.
Yeah.
You have enough to carry with this thing.
I mean, then you get angry at yourself because you're angry at him.
Yeah. So,
and there's moments where you feel like, you're the one that's putting me through this crap.
Yeah.
And the craziest part of the whole situation is when he's in jail or when he's in a psychiatric hospital, he thrives.
Yeah, because he gets structure and somebody makes him take his medication. And there's a part of you that says, I should have been able to do that for him. And that thought is right. There's no...
I tried.
Listen to me.
Decision maker.
Lynn, listen.
How long?
Listen. There's no bad thoughts. Okay? You're allowed to be mad at your son. You're allowed to be scared of your son. You're allowed to have had the thought, I wish I'd only had one of them instead of twins. All those thoughts are okay. You're not crazy. And then there's that scary, harrowing thing, which is why I'm glad you've got a ride or die husband, because there's probably moments when he's over analytical and there needs to be some compassion in that home which is the role you play. And there's also some moments when someone says, hey, this house isn't safe. A hug's not going to solve this one. We need to call the police. And that's why y'all work together as a team. It's good. You're both a gift to a really messy situation. The question you're going to have to answer moving forward is, do you have the courage to just delete Facebook?
Yeah, I could do that. But I don't think it would really change much because, like you said, I get the points and the Snickers, and
Fine.
people will say some nasty things like, break your face, and I don't know if they know that they're being nasty or if they just think they're entitled to your information, or...
It's different than that. There's this, I won't get all nerdy. Some people, when something happens to them, it's fundamental attribution error to just be a nerd for a second. When I do something, it's because I have a good reason. When somebody else does something, it's because they're a bad person. Right? If I'm speeding, it's because I really got to get to work. If you're speeding, it's because you're on drugs and you're trying to hurt people and you don't care about anybody. Right?
It's perspective.
Yes. And so I'm gonna expand that a little bit. Anytime you get in the mind of somebody else and try to figure out why they just did what they did, you're wasting your time and your energy because you're never going to know. My gut tells me that when somebody makes a comment, they're doing anything, they're looking for any reason in the world why they're not a failure, why they're not less than. Because, by the way, I got two amazing kids. And I don't think I'm doing a great job most of the time. And so if I can see a kid who's acting out in a restaurant, it makes me feel better to be like, well, at least my kid's not that kid, right? But here's the deal. You have no idea why people are saying what they're saying. Maybe they are just mean. Maybe they're trying to make themselves feel a little bit better. Maybe their kid drinks but doesn't do drugs. Maybe their kid has depression but not bipolar 1. The reason I'm telling you all this is you're never going to know why somebody says something cruel. And you're never going to be able to stop all the extrinsic, all the outside actors from doing the things that they're going to do or saying what they're going to do. The only thing you can control is what you do next. And so you can minimize the amount of voices you allow into your heart and mind. If somebody snickers at you and points at you, you can lash out and defend yourself. You can bury your head in shame, or you can whisper a quick prayer. God, be with them because they must be really struggling. And one of those is going to make you overwhelmed with shame. One of those is going to make you feel powerful for a second. And one of those is going to give you the grace and compassion that you so desperately wish other people would give you.
I'd rather give it to other people if I want it.
That's right. And so, but when somebody mouths off to you somewhere, you can exhale and just take a long blink. Don't close your eyes while you're walking on the street, but just take a long blink and just say, dear God, be with that person and give them grace.
And I've started to, since the 21st of September, when this last crazy bill happened, I've started, when people come to me and say, like, so I've heard this has happened, I just say, for my own mental health and well-being, I can't discuss this right now.
Okay. And if that's the boundary you need right now, great. The next level of challenge I would put before you is to just look them directly in the eye and say, my boy is really, really sick right now. And the authorities are involved. I'm letting the professionals do their job.
That's even better. Because then at least I feel like I'm saying something. I'm not blaming the whole thing on him, because I struggle a lot with, I can't defend his actions. And I don't want people to think that I'm defending his actions, because Lord knows I'm not.
Sure.
And
But also he's still your son.
I don't want him to be out there all alone, swinging in the breeze, thinking someday, like, even my mom wouldn't stick up for me,
That's right. But when you say the words, my son, which is you taking ownership, is very, very sick, period. I'm allowing the professionals and the authorities to do their job. Right now, it's not safe for him to be out. Period. In those two sentences, you're saying, that's still my boy. And also, he's not safe to be out. And so I'm letting the professionals in the system do its job. And in a weird way, you're looking at the person who's asking you questions. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. Is there anything else you picked up?
Right. And listen, every time you want to say, I can't talk about this because of my mental health.
I feel like I'm making myself a victim. That's what it feels like.
That's exactly right. You're taking your feelings and your ownership and you're squashing it so that you feel a little bit better in that moment and you avoid that person. And anxiety is fed on avoidance. I mean, anxiety eats avoidance. That's what makes it stronger. And so nobody needs to know the intimate details. Nobody needs to know the ins and outs. Hey, your story's wrong. It's all mixed. You don't know any, you need to know any of that. Because if you were in my inner circle, you would already know that.
That's right.
And so I'm not this on the sidewalk or at your local church or in the grocery store is not the time to decide if this person's in my inner circle or not. You would already know. And so I'm going to look at somebody. And by the way, this is not easy. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking. But in two sentences, you can take ownership of, that's my son. And my son's very sick and he's hurting people. And the best place for him right now is in jail or in a psychiatric facility. Period. Anything else? And there's that's how you reclaim your autonomy and you reclaim your strength. And if you get called to testify, the best thing for your son is not for you to say, oh, he's a great kid, he needs to be let out, because you know that's not true. The greatest thing for your particular kid is a psychiatric care.
100%.
Is being in jail. And that's bananas to say out loud, but that's your reality. That's the truth. And in those moments when it's 2 a.m. and you're sitting on the front porch and it's cold outside and your son's bleeding, and you just called 911 again, I'll be sitting there with you. Not physically, but in spirit. And millions of listeners to this call will be sitting right there with you too. Thank you for the call, sister. You can't control what other people say and think about you. All you can control is your next action and your choice to either swallow up and cover up with a big blanket of shame or to stand tall and walk right through that anxiousness.